I'm makeup artist just in time. Welcome back to Make Up Your Mind TV and today's episode of Beauty History. Today we're going to be discussing one of my all-time favorite makeup lines, Chanel. So let's get into it. As you may or may not know, Coco Chanel was not born Coco Chanel. On August 19th of 1883 in Saumur, France, she was born Gabrielle Chanel to incredibly poor parents. Her mother would die within the first few years of her life and her father became a peddler. By the age of 12, she was sent to live with nuns, completely orphaned. These nuns would teach her how to sew, and it is thought by many that this is where she developed her passion for fashion. Coming into adulthood, Gabrielle became a nightclub or a lounge singer going by the name of Coco. It is said that she took this from the word coquette, meaning kept woman, and simply shortened it. At 20 years old, she would meet Etienne Balsan, who would help her open up her first hat shop. She had a relationship with him and then unfortunately left him very quickly for what would be considered the love of her life, Arthur Boy Capal. Both of these men were really influential in her life in helping to build her fashion empire. Her first shop was opened on Rue Cambon, just selling hats. She became very well known as a luxury hat designer and soon expanded into full clothes. Her first taste of fame came when she fashioned together a dress out of jersey material and wore it around town, just something she had thrown together. It caught the attention of the elite society around town, and they soon inquired on where she made it. This would be the first steps into her becoming not only a luxury hat designer, but a full-fledged fashion designer. She's even quoted as saying, "My fortune is built on that old jersey, and I put it on because it was cold in Deauville." Simple enough and an incredible way to start your empire. Chanel then became such an incredibly known fashion designer that she was designing for plays, ballets, aristocrats, pretty much everybody, and had tons of famous friends, including Pablo Picasso. In the early 1920s, Chanel would launch Chanel No. 5. This would be her launch into the entire industry of cosmetics, and this one fragrance would go on to become the best-selling fragrance of all time. Chanel is quoted as saying, "Perfume is the unseen, unforgettable, and ultimate accessory that heralds your arrival and prolongs your departure." Just like many small businesses, Chanel needed money in order to grow and survive as a company. She sought on the help of entrepreneurs and businessmen and negotiated a deal that saw her only leaving 10% to herself of any of the Chanel 5 sales. Throughout the years and many legal battles, Chanel would eventually win the contract rights to her own fragrance and the rights to sell it. The 1920s are considered to be one of Chanel's most influential times. It saw her create not only the little black dress, but also chic women's suits that were distant from the normal kind of matronly wear that women were accustomed to wearing. In 1922, Chanel launched Number 22, after the year that it was made, a beautiful floral fragrance to accompany the already immensely popular Number 5. In 1924, she would release her first ever makeup collection featuring a series of lipsticks and rouge. Throughout the years to follow, Chanel would launch many popular fragrances, all of which still exist today. In 1925, Gardenia was launched. In 1926, saw Bois des Isles. 1927, saw Cure de Russie. 1931, it actually is where Chanel began her career in Hollywood, designing for movie sets as well as celebrities. She would develop quite a career in Hollywood, just designing exquisite pieces for the most A-list and elite. Unfortunately, during this time, Chanel was forced to shut down all of her boutiques throughout Paris. This was because of World War II and the Great Depression. This saw luxury sales dwindling. People just did not have the money that they once had. It was the Great Depression. At this time, when Chanel shuttered everything, she went into self-imposed exile for many, many years in Switzerland. Now, there is a large debate as to what Chanel was doing during the World Wars, as well as the accompanying time afterwards. There are many, many rumors of her being a Nazi sympathist, a conspirator. She was often given special treatments and allowed to keep her apartment when the area around her was occupied. It's even rumored that her friend Winston Churchill was the reason she never faced any prosecution for being a sympathizer. In the 1950s, at 70 years old, Chanel decided to return into the likes of fashion with mixed reviews. Her designs were always going to be iconic, but they were not widely accepted by the main audience they were presented to. She would persist, create trends, create mega collections, and just absolutely beautiful pieces that would come to be some of the most respected in fashion. Also in 1970, she launched number 19, a beautiful fragrance that was named after her birth date. Unfortunately, in 1971, Chanel passed away. A few years later, in 1974, launched the fragrance Cristal. 1984 saw the launch of Coco. It was also the first fragrance created by Jacques Polge. 1990 saw the ever-famous men's fragrance Egoist. 1996 saw Allure, 2001 saw Coco Mademoiselle, 2003 saw Chance, in 2006 they launched the world-renowned and immensely popular Rouge Allure lipstick collection, and in 2009 they launched the wildly popular Blue fragrance for men. Chanel has really been a not only cosmetic line but fashion house that has stood the test of time. It's really one that deserves, the history of it deserves to be told. If you are a fan of the makeup or of the fashion, I highly recommend reading one, if not all, of the many books that have been written about her life. Some of them, definitely embellish more than others. They are all focused on different portions of her life, as well as the movies that are available about Coco Chanel. They're all they're focused, they're different telling of the same story about an iconic figure in history. Chanel Cosmetics, having launched in 1924, is about to hit its 100th anniversary as a cosmetics house. It's absolutely amazing that a small line started by a child, of paupers and peddlers was able to withstand the test of time and is still one of the leaders in the cosmetic industry. Chanel really does go above and beyond for both their skincare and makeup. With their skincare, they have an exclusive lab with exclusive scientists that only work on Chanel technology. Their fragrances, still being one of the most popular in the world, are so highly in demand, especially for the Chanel No. 5 Parfum, that there is an exclusive set of workers that their entire job is to wind the little string around the parfum bottle and stamp it with the wax. It is a position that actually takes years of training to have and is very hard to acquire. It is quite prestigious. I actually got to stand behind one of these artists at one point and watch them perform it, and it's just cool. Such a simple little task requires so much exquisite training. It was a really neat process to be a part of and to be able to witness. One of my all-time favorite Chanel products is the Inimitable Intense Mascara. It's absolutely amazing for building, and it's a very high-quality mascara. I also love the Soleil Day Tan Cream Bronzer. It's been a staple in my kit since the first time I tried it, like well over a decade ago. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. Throughout the years, Chanel has created a lot of really beautiful and innovative products, and you can see in their marketing, advertising, as well as just the products that they create, that they don't follow trends, they create it. That's always something that Chanel shot for in her fashion collection, and it's definitely something that is evident in the cosmetic collection as well. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Make Up Your Mind TV. Please give us a like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Leave a comment if you're watching this on Instagram Live. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at Make Up Your Mind TV and myself, Just in Time Art. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.